Yo, what's up everybody? Tim Black here. Welcome to my channel, Big Bro, where we go over all the stuff your big brother forgot to teach you. Now, I'm sure you guys have gotten used to my dope little filming studio setup I got going on here, but for today's video, I'm actually gonna get up, go out, and get out in the field because today's topic is about normalizing doing things by yourself. So, let's get going. Okay, so hear me out. Bars, restaurants, movie theaters, amusement parks, all of these places and so many more tend to fill up every single time the weekend comes around. However, those of us that don't have someone to spend time with 24/7 seem to find ourselves on the couch not really doing anything. Now don't get me wrong, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. Hell, honestly, sometimes a night in is exactly what we need. But you have to sit there and think to yourself, how much am I really missing out on just because I'm alone? Alright, now let me paint you a picture. Let's say you're going to a movie or doing something by yourself and you run into somebody that you know. And they say something condescending like, oh, you're here by yourself? Almost immediately, you go from being so excited to do what you're doing to being self-conscious and embarrassed. Now, some people would argue that this is caused by a sense of insecurity. And while that does play a small part, the reality is there's these core values that society instills on us that what we do out in public is either acceptable or strange. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're doing anything wrong, it just means that these core values make it to where people are afraid to go out and do things because we don't see them as acceptable, even though we have complete control over what we do. On top of all that, there's also the stigma that movie theaters and restaurants and other places like that are off limits for people that are alone, because we see them in society as a place for family gatherings and dates. But really, who's to say you can't take yourself on a date? You know, I actually read a book a while back that talked about the importance of alone dates, where you go on a date completely by yourself. And when you do this, you get to explore new places, explore new foods, new things, and basically create a story that you can tell somebody else because they weren't there. And when you do this, you learn to appreciate the space and kind of listen to your thoughts again. Now, on top of that, you have the opportunity to meet other people while you're doing these things by yourself because you're doing activities that you enjoy. You're bound to meet other people or be in the presence of other people that are also doing those activities that they enjoy too. You'd be surprised how many friends I've made by going to the museum by myself or even skating up and down the street completely alone. So, if it's possible to have fun by yourself, why don't we do it more often? Well, there's actually a study done by 2 marketing professors that found that people consistently underestimate how much fun they can have by themselves. The reason for this is that they're too focused on what other people around them are thinking rather than being focused on the activity that they're doing. It turns out that people really aren't as interested as we think we are. There's actually a long line of research that shows how often we overestimate other people's interests in our affairs. This is actually so common that there's a name for it in psychology called the spotlight effect. People often adjust their actions to account for the perspective of other people, when in reality, a lot of the times our actions go completely unnoticed. The reality is you might still feel lonely when you see other groups out in public, but paying attention and focusing on your happiness is what's really important. This whole social stigma thing is total BS. Who gives a shit what other people think? The way I see it is you'd probably never have a meaningful interaction with anyone who's looking down their nose at you anyway, so why care what anyone else thinks? Just between you and I, you can't even talk or see anybody in a movie theater, so why do you feel the need to go with anybody else, you know? But hey, thank you guys so much for watching. Loving the support I've gotten recently, a lot of subscribers coming in. Thank you guys for stopping by, watching and subscribing. It really means a lot. Hopefully this encourages you guys to go out and not be afraid to do things by yourself. Honestly, I do a lot of things by myself. This whole channel I do by myself. I film by myself, and I have a fantastic time doing it. And there's nothing holding you back. You get to make the decisions for yourself, do what you want. Nobody's telling you like do this and that. Whatever, there's all kinds of things. So hopefully this was helpful for somebody. I really appreciate it. If you guys haven't, like, subscribe, do whatever you gotta do. And I will see you guys in the next video.